Hi there. It's Kamala Harris, the nominee for president. Well, sort of. Anyway, I do not approve this message.
Put in charge of the border.
Nope. She was in charge of reaching out to the South and Central American countries to stem the immigration.
She wasn't the border czar.
She was not actually the border czar.
She is not the border czar.
She was never border czar.
She was not the border czar.
Let's be very clear. There was no border czar.
President Biden put his vice president, Kamala Harris, in charge of one of his administration's growing challenges. She is now the point person on immigration.
Vice President Harris is now the Biden administration's point person
to oversee his administration's efforts to stem the flow of migrants.
Kamala Harris, the point person on immigration.
The point person in the effort to stop the flow of migrants.
Kamala Harris will lead the response to the border challenge.
Kamala Harris to lead the White House efforts to tackle migration challenges at the U.S.-Mexico border.
To take the lead on overseeing all of these efforts at the border.
Putting his vice president, Kamala Harris, in charge of this.
Her first big portfolio item.
To oversee solutions.
And I have confidence that she's going to do a good job in this role. I think President Biden made a good decision, a wise move.
And now from Times Square, it's That Kevin Show.
Somewhere in the bowels of the city that never sleeps,
Kevin McCullough, radio host with Salem Media,
is a man also not sleeping.
Syndicated radio talk show host Kevin McCullough.
And that guy would like a word with you.
Many of you know him as Vostradamus.
Of course that Kevin show is going to be great. The only thing that could be greater, of course, would be That Donald Show. But we don't have that, so we have That Kevin Show.
Featuring the music of Dick Tunney and the Dream in Color Orchestra. Still to come, Christmas in July for starving children that will die otherwise. Plus, Kamala's speechwriter, Oliver Bartholomew. Sketch comedy from the Babylon Bee and network news anchors, Not a Parody. And Casey Musgraves returns to the spotlight. And now, from Times Square, where he was secretly thought to be the sole cause of the worldwide Microsoft outage. Here's the Kevin!
And see, Dave, that's where you overplayed your hand this time. You make up these wild stories about me, and none of them are true. And this one, I can guarantee you I had nothing to do with. Because there's not a single thing in my entire office or studio or home that runs off Microsoft. But I do feel bad for those people that still had Teams working. Teams are awful. I hate Teams. Teams are the worst meeting device ever devised, and yet, I don't know, companies seem to love them now anyway. But yeah, I had nothing to do with that. So you struck out on that one, pal. Big time. All right, let's get to the news. For Assignment Desk Weekend, I'm Kevin McCullough. She's been on the campaign trail for less than 2 weeks, and Democratic frontrunner Kamala Harris, who has never once secured one electoral delegate for president, is already facing the harsh reality of the forever webs for past positions on policy. This week, her team tried to discount the idea that she was ever made the point person on the problem of illegal migration on the southern border, claiming she was never made the point person or even called border czar. It took a basement-dwelling homebody named Pajamas Joe to find about 82,000 hours of network news of her boss and media networks calling her both names on a daily basis. The Google search took almost 3 seconds to run. Chicago-based Democrats are sounding alarms ahead of next month's convention, claiming a possible surge in migrants during the Democrat Party's get-together in their fair city. One lawmaker was immediately shot upon being overheard to say, "Shouldn't be that big of an issue. The border czar will be here to help us through it." The lawmaker's body was then dumped in Pajama Joe's basement. Netflix is announcing a $7 million donation to the Harris campaign. Assignment Desk Weekend thought you might like to know that Netflix is willing to use your subscription fees purely out of spite just to force you to listen to that cackle for the next 4 years if she gets elected. Thanks, Netflix. Not everyone on the left is happy about Kamala's fake nomination. One Democrat, congressman from North Carolina, who voted to condemn the border czar's, how to put this, ineffective policies at the border, was reportedly told to, and we quote, "Shut your yapper or we'll be having you dumped at Pajama Joe's basement as well." And finally, you know the leftist base of the Democratic Party is nervous when the New York Times is critical of the most progressive former senator. This week's New York Times asking Kamala Harris one of the most exceedingly embarrassing questions in modern history. The editorial board of the New York Times, which last endorsed a Republican for president somewhere between Abraham and Moses, actually asked the fake nominee to, quote, do better, end quote, than her predecessor when it comes to press conferences and taking questions. That's right. The paper of record is so worried that they had to formally ask Harris to do better than the man who had everything in writing, read the teleprompter quotes that he shouldn't have. He seldom followed the explicit list of outlets predetermined for him to ask questions of, before shaking hands with nobody while exiting the room. The Times is worried that Harris could do worse than that. Assignment Desk Weekend would like to second that formal request and also ask her to refrain from the use of the words unburdened, passage, school bus, significance, yellow, or time. For Assignment Desk Weekend, I'm Calvin McCullough.
I'm Oliver Bartholomew, and I'm 16 and a half years old, and I'm the speechwriter for Kamala Harris. My mommy and daddy say if you find a job you love, you'll never have to work a day in your life. Morning, Frank.
Yeah, hey, Oliver.
And my parents were right. Ever since I was little, I liked words. Writing words is fun, so I made writing words my job. Every politics person has a writer, like me, to make good words for them to say.
Space is exciting. Space, it affects us all. And it connects us all.
I got that idea when I was thinking about space and how big it is. Man, it's big. It's not all fun, though. Sometimes I have to write about bad stuff, like war.
Ukraine is a country in Europe. It exists next to another country called Russia. Russia is a bigger country. Russia is a powerful country. Russia decided to invade a smaller country called Ukraine. So basically, that's wrong.
It's cool to see the words I've typed good actually get set on TV. It's fun. I like it. Once I thought it would be neat if Kamala wore a blue suit and told people she was wearing it because I like blue.
I'm a woman sitting at the table wearing a blue suit.
It's cool because the suit's blue and it's the color of the sky. Where do I get my ideas? From all over. One time I was on the school bus and I thought it would be neat if Kamala talked about the school bus. And who doesn't love a yellow school bus, right?
Who doesn't love a yellow school bus, right? Can you raise your hand if you love a yellow school bus, right?
I can't take all the credit, though. Me and Mr. Kamala are a team.
You know, like relay racing? You know, you race and someone passes the baton and then, right?
But she kind of is crazy or something. And she kind of scares me. And you can't fake that kind of influence.
Remember Venn diagrams, those 3 circles, right? And then let's just see where they overlap. I did inhale. What else do we know about this population, 18 through 24? They are stupid.
You're either born with it or you're either not.
It is time for us to do what we have been doing, and that time is every day.
It's quitting time. I need to get home in time for Blue. See you tomorrow, Frank.
See you later, Oliver.
And that time is every day.
The Babylon Bee bringing a little spark of funny to your weekend. Kevin McCullough, we've still got a great hour straight ahead. Don't go anywhere.
Ready or not, we'll be right back.